Hello Scribbles! How are you today? I'm Nina, I'm an illustrator and comic artist. You already know that probably. But in case you're new, hi, nice to meet you, welcome to my channel. I'm doing requested tutorials. So Nita, also known as Casual Moon, asked me to make a tutorial on metals, specifically gold. So let's begin with gold. Before we start painting the metal, we need to settle a color palette for this. So I want this yellow here. And we are gonna get a little bit of a darker color. I'm leaning down here towards orange to get the second color, looking nice. I'm gonna get a little bit of orange-ish. And a darker. Now I'm going dramatic. I'm going really dramatic. I'm going for a really darker color. And white. White is fine. We're gonna use white. We don't really need to set up white for this. Let's make a drawing real quick. Let's paint something like this. We are lowering the opacity here. Making another layer. This is in a different layer. Let's put in our base color, the bright yellow. I'm using Clip Studio. I'm creating a new layer here and clipping it to the layer below. And I'll be shading on the clipping layer. So we're gonna have these two layers here we're working on. Let's go for the second color, the darker gold. With this color, we're gonna make the midtones. So we're gonna use it a lot. Take your time doing this, no need to hurry. We need it to look like a little bit smooth. I'm using the eraser here to make this line. Yes, I turn my head with my drawings. It happens a lot. Make a nice gradient. No hurries, take your time. We already got the base shape of our image here, so I don't really need the sketch anymore, so I'm just taking it off. And let's work with the shapes we have here. We can move on from here. Now that we got the midtones ready, let's go for an orange-ish color. I'm making a new clipping layer here for this, so if you mess it up, you can just take one layer off and you don't lose all your work, and you can make a new one and try again. So you don't be afraid of losing everything you did so far. Layers are never too much if you need them. If you're confident, you can just make everything in one layer. I'm making a different layers to show you guys how it looks. We're adding a little bit of orange here. This orange-ish color will help us get undertones on our gold. It will look more warmth. If you want to make your gold look more old, more desaturated, then don't use warm colors. use more of a grayish, dark golden. This is not what I'm going for. I like the orange-ish. So I'm making my gold look warmth here. You can already see the difference, right? If we turn this orange layer off and on, you can see the difference it makes. It looks like no big deal, but it's what's gonna make your coloring more interesting. Let's check again. Without the orange, with the orange. It looks more vivid, right? I like it. Just a little bit more here. And we'll be done. Now we're gonna get this darker color here. This is part of my process. I like to make all the shading first and I'll do the lightening later on. We add lightening in the end. That's how I'm doing it here. Now this really darker color, this is very dramatic. This is a lot of contrast. And I know some people are afraid to do this, to add this strong contrast to their drawings. Don't be. This improves your drawing a lot. Contrast is good. You don't have to be afraid of it. You just have to know how to use it. And it's not like the main thing we're doing here. We're using very little of this darker color. This is something you don't want to do in excess. Now the highlights. Now this part is critical. It's time to make our metal shine. You can do the highlights differently depending on the texture of your metal that you choose to apply on your metal. So I copied the image so we can do two different kinds of lightning here. Let's start with soft lightning. So I'm coming here with an airbrush and I'm adding a soft light here to the parts where I understand the light is hitting. I'm using a blender now. Pulling to the kind of shape that I want, but keeping it soft. And finally, an eraser, a soft eraser, smaller soft eraser, because I don't want my light to spill on my midtones and shadows. I want it to stay on its place, so let's erase this part here so we don't lose our beautiful midtones. Here, for instance, I want the lighting to be on the top part, not the side, so I'm deleting the side and keeping the contrast. And I'm adding a little bit more of lightning, but with a smaller tip, so we can concentrate the light in one spot. And that's soft lighting. For a more dramatic lighting, let's use this hard brush. It is a pen. I'm using the exact same tip I used in all the drawings so far. Instead of making the soft shading, we'll just mark down the parts where we want our lightning to be. In a much more solid way. So I'm gonna get a blender that is like the same size of my lines or a little bit smaller, so I can pull the edges of my line a little bit bigger, so I can pull the edges of my lines and make the edges softer. I don't want to go like all the way through the lightning because I want the white to be solid, especially in the middle of the lines, so I'm pulling just the edges. And let's do the same with all the other lines I made. I'm not speeding this up, I'm leaving the video just exactly as I'm doing it, because then you guys can see the whole process. And if you have some doubt, if there is still any doubt about it, just ask, leave a comment. I'll be happy to help. Now if you feel like you did too much blending and you lost your shapes, you can get your pen again and reinforce the edges here. Now you don't have necessarily to make the lightning white if you don't like the white lightning because you feel like it's too dramatic, it draws too much attention and it feels a little bit off for you. You can use a softer yellow, a almost white yellowish. As you can see here, I duplicated the images. These highlights here are made with white and these here are made with yellow. Myself, I like the white highlights. I mostly use the white highlights. If you want, you can add some effects. Since I'm using this software here that has some nice brushes, I can add a few sparkles to my gold bar. And ta-da! Here it is, we painted gold. I hope this humble tutorial have helped you. If you want to request any other tutorials, feel free to drop a comment. If you try out this tutorial and want to share your work with us, join our Discord. There is a channel for artists. Ask for the artist role and show your artworks. That's it for today's scribbles. Thanks for watching. Bye bye. A few sparkles to it. They are too big. Let's make them smaller.